This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news, the headlines first. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda stresses need to tackle climate change impacts on South Asian mountain ranges. Kosi Province Chief Minister Kedar Karki wins vote of confidence with more than two-third majority. Deputy Prime Minister Naran Kaji Shrestha advocates for Paris Agreement adherence. Nepal Electricity Authority exported electricity worth nearly 12 billion rupees to India during last 5 months. And Egypt agrees to open up a crossing to allow up to 20 trucks of aid into Gaza. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda has assured of regular operation of the transit points along the Nepal-China border in Mustang. In his address to a program organized by the CPN Maoist Center Mustang chapter at Jomsom yesterday, the Prime Minister said during his recent visit to China, it was bilaterally agreed to operate 14 trade transits along the Nepal-China border. The Prime Minister added that the Chinese side agreed to assist Nepal in the construction of physical infrastructures along the Kerala point. He also promised to accord top priority for upgrading the Kali-Gandaki corridor connecting the Kerala point. Prior to this, the Prime Minister made an aerial inspection of the flood-ravaged Kagbeni, Muktinath and Lomanthang of Upper Mustang. Prime Minister Dahal reiterated that the campaign of good governance launched by the government against corruption would not be stopped. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dahal has said climate change has had its specific and severe impacts on the South Asian mountain ranges. Taking part in an interaction on climate change dialogue organized by the Annapurna Conservation Area Project yesterday, the Prime Minister said if timely and adequate efforts were not taken by the international community in the minimization of climate change, its consequences would be more severe and challenging in the days to come. The Prime Minister stated Nepal had raised the issues of climate change and its impact on Nepal on a serious note in the recent United Nations General Assembly. Chief Minister of Kosi Province, Kedar Karki, yesterday won a vote of confidence from the Kosi Provincial Assembly with more than two-third majority. Based on the division of votes, 86 votes were cast in favor of Chief Minister Karki's proposal, while 5 votes were against it from the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party members. Deputy Speaker Srijana Danuwar announced that 86 members, including 29 from Nepali Congress, 39 from CPN-UML, 13 from CPN Maoist Center and 4 from CPN Unified Socialist and 1 from Janta Samajwadi Party voted in favor of Karki. Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Naran Kaji Shrestha has urged the international community to meet their commitments under the Paris Agreement, including financial obligations. He made such remarks while addressing a high-level forum on green development held on Green Silk Road for Harmony with Nature under the border theme of high-quality belt and road cooperation in Beijing. He highlighted Nepal's goal of achieving net zero carbon emissions by the year 2045, 5 years ahead of the global timeline. Shrestha emphasized the challenges faced by climate-vulnerable mountainous nations like Nepal, which were disproportionately affected by the climate change. Deputy Prime Minister Shrestha also attended the inaugural ceremony of the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing, where he stressed the significance of connectivity for landlocked countries like Nepal and expressed Nepal's efforts to enhance connectivity with China through various means under the Trans-Himalayan Multidimensional Connectivity Network. The forum was attended by high-level delegates from over 150 countries and 30 international organizations, including the Secretary-General of the United Nations. Members of the Nepali delegation also participated in the forum. Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Purna Bahadur Khadka has said sensitivity of citizens worldwide has increased along with the emergence of new challenges. In his address to the special ceremony organized by the Nepal Army on the occasion of the United Nations Day, the Deputy Prime Minister said Nepal was committed to the vision, goals and objectives of the United Nations Charter. He expressed the view that it was necessary to reconsider how to ensure peace amid new and complex challenges in order to maintain the trust and legitimacy of the United Nations peacekeeping. Nepal Electricity Authority has exported electricity worth 11.8 billion rupees to India during the last 5 months. The authority sold the surplus electricity to India during the monsoon season this year. Nepal Electricity Authority has got permission to sell a total of 632 megawatts of electricity to competitive market in India. Managing Director of Nepal Electricity Authority, Kulman Singh, said electricity worth 16 billion rupees could be sold to the Indian market in the next monsoon season. Meanwhile, Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Shakti Bahadur Basnet, has directed Nepal Electricity Authority to ensure uninterrupted power supply during the upcoming festive season, which has already started. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Now on to some international updates. Egypt's president has agreed to open up a crossing to allow up to 20 trucks of aid into Gaza. U.S. President Joe Biden visited Israel in a show of support where he backed Israel's strong denial of any involvement in an explosion at a hospital in Gaza. Local officials say 471 people were killed when a huge blast ripped through a crowded area at the hospital where Palestinian civilians were sheltering. Israel was blamed by the militant group Hamas, but its military says the blast was caused by a misfiring Palestinian rocket. Now a sports update. Cricket. New Zealand have defeated Afghanistan in the ongoing ICC Men's ODI Cricket World Cup 2023, which is being held in India. New Zealand made 288 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in the allocated 50 overs after Afghanistan won the toss and decided to field first. In reply, Afghanistan could only make 139 runs for the loss of all wickets in 35 overs, losing the match by 149 runs. Now the general weather forecast for the country for today according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division. The weather will be partly to generally cloudy in the hilly areas and partly cloudy to mainly fair in the rest of the country. Light rain or thunder and lightning is likely to occur at 1 or 2 places of the hilly regions of the country. With this, we have almost come to the end of this news bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda stresses need to tackle climate change impacts on South Asian mountain ranges. Kosi Province Chief Minister Kedar Karki wins vote of confidence with more than 2/3 majority. Deputy Prime Minister Naren Kaji Shrestha advocates for Paris Agreement adherence. Nepal Electricity Authority exported electricity worth nearly 12 billion rupees to India during last 5 months. And Egypt agrees to open up a crossing to allow up to 20 trucks of aid into Gaza. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website, www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.